Hi, everyone. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for the kind comments and text messages and even in my Christmas cards that I'm getting in the mail. Um, you're so brave. You're so brave. This is brave. This is just me. But I can understand why some might think it's brave. I'm just weird. um, and I'm in a position where I can't share my story because I've got full-on support from everybody in my life, and I don't take that for granted. So this is my last 22Q awareness post, but I'll still post about my life with 22Q, but it'll be more about living my life and not just going to the doctor and all that stuff, to show that people with 22Q live a relatively normal life despite sometimes having a doctor appointment every day of the week. That happens sometimes. It's a real pain in the butt. So I'm going to kind of go off the cuff because I've practiced so much. Anyway, I'm just going to stop talking. So my diagnosis is what led to my self-advocacy, and how that is because I wasn't diagnosed with anything before I was 18. The regional center said bye. And then my mom would do a search with my different health issues or learning disabilities, hearing loss, and velocardiofacial syndrome kept showing up. And there are several different names for 22Q, and we in the 22Q Foundation, we use 22Q. It's easy to say. And rock your Q. Shout out to the 22Q family for sharing my stories and reaching people around the world. That makes my story get around the world, and that's amazing to me. Who'd have thunk? So the way I got into the regional center was because I didn't give up, and I was diagnosed with velocardiofacial syndrome, DeGeorge, but 22Q, but only after my mom did a lot of research and got in touch with the UC Davis Mind Institute, and they had a back and forth, and they asked for a picture and my background, my health background and stuff, and they said, obviously we can't do a diagnosis over the email or the phone, but I highly recommend you get what's called a FISH test. The FISH is an acronym for something, and I don't know what it is off the top of my head. It's a very long thing, but I got the FISH test, but not before my doctor asked me, what will change by you knowing? At the time, I said I would know, because not many people get to know why things happen to them, and actually have a reason for why all these things happen to them. I've always felt like they were connected, and they are. So that was, my phone's ringing. No edits. So that was what happened with the doctor, and the doctor obviously said okay, and I had to go to a special lab, and then called Quest Diagnosis. You've probably heard of it. And it would take 2 weeks for the test to come back, and obviously we know how the test came back. And it was a good thing for me. It wasn't sad or, oh no. And I think it's because I was an adult. I was 31 at the time. I'm 44 now. And so I'd already gone through a lot of stuff that the little kids now might go through. We all have different, there's like 300 characteristics of different things that can happen with 22Q, and not all of us have the same. We might have 1 or 2 alike, but not all the same. So I finally get the diagnosis of 22Q, and I called the regional center and I said, look, I've had this since I was born, but because I was born in the stone age of science, of 22Q science, I didn't know I had this before I was 18. And they said, fine. They basically said, fine, okay. And so I went in and had the intake and got accepted or what have you for services. And then I started my day program, Person-Centered Services, which I just actually left. Sorry, my light is flickering. No edits, sorry. And I went there for 9 years. I just stopped going because it was just time, and now I'm doing more than I did when I was going there. And I think it's because I've grown so much thanks to that day program. And when I was at that day program, maybe 2 years, that's when I was asked by one of the staff members if I would be interested in being on the board of directors as a consumer representative, which I found extremely ironic given the fact that I had so much trouble getting past a phone call to get my foot in the door at BMRC. Then I thought that's probably why they asked me if I would be interested. So I did the application, and I was very nervous because it's a 3-year commitment and I have a history of not sticking to things. It's been 7 years. I've been a consumer representative for 7 years, and I've been on the Consumer Services Committee, Legislative Committee, and part of SAC 6, which is the 6 counties we serve. And during the height of COVID, we had one weekly chats for check-in with our peers, and now we're doing those monthly, I think. And as I grew as I went on into the board, my confidence grew, which is one reason I'm able to do this. I don't think I would have been able to share my story if I hadn't done that first. And that was my little step towards self-advocacy. And I'm so thankful that I can still be on a committee after my term ends this summer, because I just love it there so much. And so while I've been on the board, I've done so many things I never thought I would do, like trainings and conferences, being part of a panel at a conference, being a speaker at a conference. So there was one particular training that kind of changed gave me this is what I want to do. I went to something called Cultural Competence training, and it was put on by Georgetown University. Yes, that Georgetown University. And it was a 2-day training, and I went both days, all day. And this first day I was asked, after I answered a question about being LGBTQ and having disabilities, if I could be on the panel at the last minute. But it was while I was on that panel that was like, this is what I want to do. It came so naturally. I wasn't anxious. And then this year I finally got to do the Choices Conference, which I was supposed to do in April of 2020. And I was a keynote speaker via Zoom. And so I've just gotten to do so many things because I joined the board. But the board is what helped me grow into being more confident about doing these kind of things. And I'm so lucky because I have so much support from Valley Mountain Regional Center and my family and my friends. And when I came out, nobody batted an eye. And I don't take that for granted, because I know there are a lot of people in the LGBTQ community and people with disabilities who do not have support. There are people that I've known who have no contact with their family who have disabilities. That is a thing. And then a lot of people who are LGBTQ also are. That's why you hear about chosen family. So that's when I realized that's what I want to do. I want to advocate for people in the LGBT community and add it in with people with disabilities, because I'm both and I've lived it. And I am in a safe space, and I've got so much support. So hopefully you will see that happening someday soon, sooner rather than later. But like I said earlier, my next post will be more about my day-to-day life and the fun things that I do. And because there's more to life than actually just having 22Q. My life is pretty awesome. Thank you very much. And I did always couldn't say that my life was awesome, but I can now, and I say it confidently. And so thank you again for all your support during the last month plus for my 22Q awareness post, and stay tuned for more of me talking.